In this lecture, we will create the public and private subnet in the VNet we created in the last lecture. So the first thing I want you to do is make sure you have selected the VNet you created in the last lecture. You can see I am already in the VNet. Once you are in the VNet, on the menu on the left side, select Settings. Then select Subnets. Click Subnet. And here we are going to add the settings for our subnet. Under subnet purpose, it is going to be default, and for the name, we are going to call it public AZ1 because this is the subnet we will use to identify the resource we deploy in the first availability zone, and the subnet is also a public subnet. Under IPv4, this is the CIDR block for our VPC, and we will leave it as default. And under the starting address, we are going to use 10.0.0.0/24. Under IPv6, we will leave it as default. And for the private subnet, don't check this box because it is going to be a public subnet. Under security, we will leave all these settings as default. Don't select anything here. Under service endpoint, we will leave it as default. Then for the subnet delegation and network policy, we will leave it as default. Click Add. And there you go. We have successfully added the public subnet. Let's create the second public subnet. Click Subnet. Under subnet purpose, it will be default. And for the subnet name, we will call it public AZ2. Under IPv4, this is the CIDR block for the VPC, and for the CIDR block for the subnet, it will be 10.0.1.0/24. Under IPv6, we'll leave it as default. For the private subnet, don't check the box because it is a public subnet. Under security, we will leave these settings as default. Under service endpoint, we will also leave it as default. For the subnet delegation and network policy, we will leave it as default. Click Add. We are now creating the second public subnet. And we have successfully added the subnet. Let's create the first private subnet. Click Subnet. Under subnet purpose, it will be default. For the subnet name, we will call it private app AZ1 because this is the subnet we will use to identify the app servers we deploy in the first availability zone. Under IPv4, this is the CIDR block for our VPC, and for the subnet, the CIDR block is going to be 10.0.2.0/24. Under IPv6, we'll leave it as default. It is going to be a private subnet, so we are going to check this box. Under security, we will leave it as default. Service endpoint and the rest of the settings, we will leave them as default. Click Add. We have successfully added the private app subnet. Let's add the second private app subnet. For the subnet name, we are going to call it private app AZ2. Under IPv4, the CIDR block is going to be 10.0.3.0/24. IPv6 setting is going to be the same. And for the private subnet, we check that box. The rest of the settings stays the same. And we click Add. We have successfully created the private subnet. Let's create the next private subnet. Under subnet name, we will call it private data AZ1. Under IPv4, the CIDR block is going to be 10.0.4.0/24. Under IPv6, we'll leave it as default. For the private subnet, check this box, and we'll leave all the other settings as default. Scroll down and click Add. We have successfully added the private data subnet. Let's add the last private subnet. Under subnet name, we are going to call it private data AZ2. Under IPv4, the CIDR block is going to be 10.0.5.0/24. Under IPv6, we'll leave it as default. We are going to check this box for private subnet. The rest of the setting is the same. Scroll down and click Add. We have successfully created the public and private subnet in this VNet. In the next lecture, we will create the NAT gateway that will allow our private subnet to have access to the internet. If you have any questions or there's any part you don't understand, please leave your comments below. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye.